I need a beer. Yeah, I need a beer. I'm gonna have a beer. Whew. Yeah. Awesome. Whoa! Whoa! I'm just gonna play the game. I'm just gonna play the game. No more. No doing anything. I'm gonna play the game. I'm just gonna play the game. Alright, Dead Space, I got this. Awesome.
But Batman!
Did anyone else hear that?
Whoa! Greg, why are you attacking me?
I don't know, I felt like I should do it. It seemed like it was necessary.
Greg, you realize that if I finish... Greg, listen to me! If I press the quick time event, if I end it, I will murder you!
Well, don't do that.
I have no choice or I die! What's that?
Huh?
Is that a black screen? Oh, it's the quit screen. No, don't quit. No.
Wait.
Yes!
Dead Space! Isn't that the space in between your couch cushions?
So you know, like welcome to the show and stuff. Like I'm Gerard Cleo the Completionist, but like for Halloween, you know, I'm being like the owner. You know, for like pure ownage. It's kind of like when you're in Ball Lane and you got like a Blitz Fortune and they have a Vane and a Tarek Bot and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna go and get the pole. Oh, and you're like, and you get the Shaco coming in the bot, but you drop a pink one and you're like, oh, Lalu, and you see him and you pull him and you ult and you get double kills. It's great. Has anyone seen this show? Has anyone played League of Legends? Has anyone seen pure ownage? Come on!
Isn't it pure ponage?
Shut up, it's pure ownage.
No, I think it's ponage.
Pure ownage.
Pure ponage.
Pure ownage! Welcome to another episode of The Completionist. And today, guys, we move on to the third episode in our King of the Web, King Baldwin month. Moving forward with a very scary game that's, well, for me, it's pretty nostalgic because it is a couple of years old, but they're coming out with the third one later on next year. It's gonna be great. Hope you're all ready to get a little bit scared. Just a little bit. It's gonna be awesome.
Isn't it pure ponage?
Shut
Dead Space. This was one of my first games I owned on my PlayStation 3, making this my own little launch title in a way. I remember when I picked it up how anxious I was to dive in the space of the dead.
But King Baldwin, are they zombies? Are they zombies with body parts?
I don't know, they seem pretty disgusting to me too.
Oh, that's disgusting. What the hell is a necromorph?
Ew. Dead Space takes place in the year 2414 on the mining spaceship known as the Ishimura. The Ishimura sent out a distress signal for help to the Concordance Extraction Company, or the CEC, during the mining process of the planet known as Aegis 7. The CEC then releases a team to investigate, and with that team is our hero Isaac Clarke.
Fun fact, the name Isaac Clarke actually is a nod to the famous science fiction writers Isaac Asimov and Arthur G. Clarke.
Wow, Greg, you actually did research.
What's a research?
Upon dispatch, Isaac receives a video from his girlfriend Nicole, essentially saying a solemn goodbye with the need for help, and shortly afterwards, the team arrives to the Ishimura, only to discover that the entire ship is completely empty. Or so it appears. As Isaac and his team go to investigate, they are then ambushed by what seems to be really disgusting monsters. I mean, these monsters are just flat out brutal.
Gerard?
So intense, you can sense they used to be human, but not anymore. Just teeth and pointy things and blood and
Gerard.
guts and bizarre boobage and really just flat out awful.
Oh, we get it. They look awful nasty awful.
Within this ambush, Isaac and two other people survive. Commander Zach Heyman, and computer specialist Kendra Daniels. The three split up and must bind together to save their own lives while these brutal, disgusting monsters start to spread. Through the collection of audio clips and investigating, you, the player, will find out more about what happened on the ship. There's an alien artifact called the Marker that is on the planet Aegis 7, and it's emitting fumes that are making people go crazy and suffer from hallucinations. It also spreads this virus that starts to turn the crew into these monsters, which are known as necromorphs. Now, how did the necromorphs get on the Ishimura? A lone shuttle from Aegis 7 carrying a necromorph docked on the ship.
And now the continuing adventures of Space Cadet Necromorph! Join us next week for the thrilling conclusion of Space Cadet Necromorph!
One of the scariest things is the science that goes on about the Marker, but just know there's actually a religious group known as Unitology, and that, to me, is almost more scary than any monster you will ever encounter on this ship. They sacrifice themselves to these alien monsters!
Yeah, if they're anything like Scientologists, you can count me out. Hollywood, what happened to you?
There are many games these days that try to be very cinematic and are played out as if they were in a movie in a theater. Some of them fail, however Dead Space definitely succeeds. Right from the get-go, you are greeted with ominous noises and technological sound on the menu screen, and throughout the game, there are moments of extreme volume and yet complete silence that mess with your head. This game is just so incredibly dynamic. Now, because sound can't technically travel in space, every time you make it outside of the ship into an open area, it goes almost completely silent. The music really assists with the ominous feeling as well as reacting with the environment. The music swells as you get closer to danger, and sharp musical attacks are generated when a necromorph bursts out from within the wall.
La 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 la, just walking around on this nice cool space.
Sweet mother of water! It's made out of people!
Necromorph is made of people!
This game was one of the reasons why I got a PlayStation 3. I saw some gameplay footage and I knew instantly I had to have this game. As I said before, it really does play like a movie. You follow Isaac over the shoulder as he goes around the derelict ship and runs into enemies, both the living and the dead.
Yeah, I remember on the first playthrough watching you stomp every single part of each and every necromorph apart just to make sure those suckers didn't stand up again, even when it was completely unnecessary.
The graphics are so good that when I first got this game in college, I would invite all my friends over while I played, and everyone would treat it like a big Hollywood blockbuster scary film.
Then I would walk back to my apartment and cry myself to sleep.
As a whole, presentation is really where Dead Space shines. This game sucks you in and keeps you freaked out till the very last moment of the game.
Ah, even the credits are scary. Look, that one starts out with the J.
On the surface, Dead Space looks like it took the atmosphere of Doom 3 and combined the gameplay with Resident Evil 4. I admit, when I first played it, that's exactly what went through my head. But very quickly, you'll realize that this game has so much more to offer, especially since there are brand new game mechanics that add to the overall composition. The first aspect we notice is that this is a third-person, over-the-shoulder shooter. In order to defeat your enemy, you must chop off its limbs rather than just its head. If you shoot the head off, still be prepared to be ambushed by whatever remains of the beast. Now, a lot of you are probably thinking, what makes Dead Space work the same, if not better, than RE4? There's two big key elements that attribute to this kind of thinking. The first is atmosphere. Ever since Resident Evil's atmosphere changed drastically, the horror element has almost been completely eliminated, whereas in Dead Space, it perfects it. The second element was the ability to walk and shoot at the same time. I think we all felt that big disappointment when we picked up Resident Evil 5. But these two key components are what pushes Dead Space to the front of the survival horror genre. Dead Space does introduce a lot of fun and interesting new elements that are not common in games in the same genre. Let's start with stasis. Stasis is the ability to suspend things in slow motion, allowing you to take your time solving puzzles, getting past certain obstacles, and most importantly, killing things in slow motion.
What you say? All that you only meant.
Gerard, what is your obsession with that joke?
Honestly, I have no idea. It just, hearing that song makes me smile every time.
The bears feel neglected, Shirako. The bears feel neglected.
Next on the new things table is what I call
The Force!
because that's basically what it is. You can use
The Force!
to grab objects like items, boxes, any kinds of particles. Hell, you can even grab pikes, poles, or even the body parts of your dead enemies. Some rooms and environments have no air for Isaac to breathe, so sometimes you'll have to act really quick with the allotted oxygen.
Okay, so one of my least favorite things in video games is death via suffocation, especially in the Sonic series.
Along with these rooms that do not have air, there's also certain areas that do not have gravity. This gives you the ability to float casually through space in a fun little ballet motion. There's even a fun little basketball game you can play in space. Unlike most modern games, Isaac is not built like a lead protagonist. However, his armor is what makes him powerful, and it also what makes him look badass. Another great attribute about him is that he's not exactly your ideal action hero, so his movement and his weapon lineup is unpolished, if you will. You will gain a different variety of weapons and armor schematics that, while are meant to help a miner perform their task, turn into a lovely arsenal of chaotic fun for the war on necromorphs. Upgrading your equipment is another fun juggling task. In order to do so, you must acquire these little circular objects known as power nodes. These are spread throughout the Ishimura and are actually quite easy to obtain. But, if you cannot find any, you can use the credits you obtain to purchase as many as you want from the store. Credits are also used to purchase upgraded suits, ammo, health packs, air tanks, so on and so forth. Now the meat and potatoes of what makes Dead Space, the enemies. Holy crap, are these things nasty. And what even makes them more frightening is the element of surprise. Someone will just be lying on the floor playing dead, and boom, they'll just pounce on you. But most of the time, they just jump out from the ventilation system, which, by the way, that's not any better. You've got your basic necromorph, which is pretty damn disgusting, and then you have the upgraded darker version of that, which is just more difficult, it's more durable and more scary at times. There's the little dog babies with 3 spitters, and then there's the upgraded version of that. There's the really hefty guys that when you kill them spawn dozens of a little annoying alien ant farm creepy crawly type things. And my least favorite, the flyers. Ooh, the flyers. The flyers can find dead corpses in a room and can create fresh necromorphs out of them. One of the most brutal things I've ever seen in gaming transformation. Now the boss fights are actually challenging and fun to experience. Nothing ever seems too difficult, and there's always some type of element of the environment that you can use to win the fight. But the most important thing about Dead Space is the blood-bursting, well-conducted alien carnage. It's like they wanted to make a space ballet of death just for me. You've become unstoppable by maxing out all of your items and your stats, mastered the fine arts of using stasis, and you've played some basketball within zero gravity. It's time to find your girlfriend and figure out what to do with the Unitologist as well as the marker. As you approach the end of the game, Isaac uncovers that on Aegis 7 there is an almighty hive force that is controlling the necromorphs. In order to stop it from destroying everything, the marker must be near the hive to conceal it, creating a dead space.
That's what dead space means? I honestly thought that it was the space in between the cushions on a couch.
With Isaac discovering this information, he realizes the marker is on the Ishimura and he must return it back to Aegis 7. Unfortunately, that does not bode well with Kendra, who turns out to be a backstabbing jerk government agent. Now, why is she a jerk besides being a government agent? Because she reveals to you that your girlfriend has been dead since before you showed up on the Ishimura.
You know, if you take the first letter of each chapter, it spells out Nicole is dead.
Greg, I'm so impressed with all the research you've done.
What is this research you speak of?
So with the ending grasp of the game nearby, you must stop Kendra from taking the marker and defeat the Hive monster. And with that, the game is finished. Let's watch the ending, shall we?
Isaac, it's me. I wish I could talk to you. I'm
Sweet Johebus, I knew she was gonna be there, but it's still scary.
While Dead Space's campaign on normal is a breeze, prepare for some fun playthroughs. I did 3 altogether. The second playthrough I went with was my New Game Plus. New Game Plus starts you off with all the equipment you had from before, plus several new bonuses, such as tons more cash, a lot of power nodes, and a level 6 schematic suit. Beating the game on any difficulty will unlock Impossible Mode, which in my opinion is not that bad if you play it safe. Knowing where all the enemies are is a major plus, and taking your time is never a bad thing. The trophies, on the other hand, tend to get out of control. Sure, killing different amount of enemies with different guns is no problem, but a trophy such as playing the game only using the plasma cutter tends to make the game a bit more difficult, considering guns like the line cutter and the saw make the game much more easy and fun to play. All in all, 3 full playthroughs and you should be able to collect all the trophies. Just check your trophy list as you make your way.
Don't forget about Peng. There's always Peng. And money in the banana stand.
In regards to DLC, there's not much to look at. There's tons of weapons and add-on packs to go with it, but because I really enjoyed Dead Space, I did buy them, and I regret doing so. The best one in my opinion is the Scorpion armor suit, with the Scorpion labeled guns. I also do suggest buying this pack if you're passionate about completing the game. This will help you on your journey of achievement and trophy hunting. All in all, I personally found that unless you're a completionist like myself, you may not enjoy the amount of time and effort it takes to 100% this game, especially since there's not really a completion bonus to it. Dead Space is a fantastic game you have to experience like a film. Turn off all the lights, play with friends, especially that one chick next door who's super hot, who you're kind of into and she's a little into you but you don't know, and you're like, hey, why don't you come over and play Dead Space? It's like a movie game kind of thing and it's scary, and she's like, no. Even though it has that last hardcore playthrough, the game's not that tough on the harder difficulties, especially when you know where everything is in regards to monsters and items and so on and so forth. And the DLC is not really worth that extra purchase because it's just the benefit of, you know, more kinds of armor, more weapons. With that in mind, guys, this game gets our completionist rating of finish it. You know, she might call. No.
Finish it!
That is all the time we have for today, guys, so please, as always, leave your positive and negative comments in the boxes below. Don't forget to leave your game suggestions for the future of the show, and face twit tamblegram us. Social networking, face twit tamblegram. Gramster, do it. It's a good time.
Do you think that girl's gonna face twit tamblegram you? The next door girl? The one who didn't want to play the game with you? Yeah, she's probably not gonna do that.
Now, if you excuse me. Whoa! What's that in the closet? I could tell you what's next week's game by showing you what's over by the closet. On the other hand, I could tell you a story that has ultimately nothing to do with next week's game, making you feel depressed, possibly unsatisfied. Make your decision by clicking one of the annotations on the screen. This really hurts my voice.